This is what the mob does. This is what we do. This is how we live. This is the true side of the mafia. This isn't somebody talking about the mafia. I am part of it.
His name, Salvatore the Bull Gravono, one of the most notorious gangsters in mafia history.
Sammy the Bull is a serial murderer. He's a psychopath and a sociopath.
He's not a serial killer, he was a gangster.
We kill amongst ourselves according to our rules. It was for what you did.
Gravono rose through the ranks and became second in command of New York's infamous Gambino crime family.
They tell you to kill someone. Did you think of saying no?
No, not at all.
Now in his 70s, Gravono talks about his life as a mafia hitman in the ABC News production Truth and Lies, The Last Gangster.
New York in the 70s and 80s was like the Wild West. Bodies all over the place. It was insane.
The mob was going through a very violent period. It was a dangerous time in the mob's world.
Sammy the Bull was a street thug who grew up in Bensonhurst. He gravitated towards the world of organized crime as a young boy.
Did he have options not to join the mob? Absolutely. But once you go in, it's all in or nothing.
It was for money. It was for greed. It was for women. It was for fast cars. It was being part of a society, part of a brotherhood.
Many of them consider what they do almost military in nature. They consider themselves soldiers.
So they believe when your boss tells you have to kill somebody, they feel they're doing the right thing.
My father said when I took my oath to Cosa Nostra, I gave up everything.
At the ceremony, there was 14 guys, and one by one they called us down the basement. Dim lights, real smoky. There was a picture of a saint on the table. They pricked my finger to get blood out of it, put the blood on the saint. They put it in my hand, and they lit it. He just said, if you betray this brotherhood, may your soul burn like the saint. I really believed in it with my heart and soul.
New York in the 80s and 90s was a very, very interesting place. I didn't think that somebody like Trump would turn out to be the president of the United States, nor did I think that John Gotti would rise to become such a prominent celebrity. But they did, because New York loves a character.
In Ozone Park, which was in Queens, or right over the Brooklyn-Queens border where John Gotti lived, he was a hero.
Your Thanks John hat on. Thanks John who?
Gotti, who else?
For what?
For having this big party.
You know anything about John Gotti?
No. If I did, I wouldn't say anyway.
John Gotti, the Teflon Don, the mob boss who changed the face of organized crime, putting the once secretive lifestyle on full display.
He was over the top.
And he was taking full advantage of his celebrity.
I think his problem was that he fell in love with himself. He saw himself on television, in the newspapers, and he lost touch with what he was. That he's a gangster, not an actor.
John Gotti was so enamored of Sammy the Bull that he made him his underboss.
Me and John ran the family. It was me and him against the world.
Well, I mean, you could tell by the body language that they were very close. John Gotti trusted him implicitly.
John balked. I bit. And a lot of people knew that.
You got it done.
Oh, I got the job done.
And if he'd said, kill your son?
My son? I probably would have fought on that one. There's no way I would have killed my son. I would have fought. I would have died with him, or I would have died trying, or there's no way.
The FBI had long been working on ways to bring down the New York Mafia. Their target was John Gotti.
The FBI and New York State's Organized Crime Task Force set a trap for Gotti.
So the whole strategy was to put bugs where John was having his most secret conversations, where he was going to talk the most about the criminal conduct. He made my job easier. He introduced me to that whole family.
I don't think any of the old-timers would believe that Cosa Nostra was to be run like this in any way, shape, or form.
John starts recognizing that everybody knows and respects Sammy. He's the guy interacting with everybody. That becomes a threat to the boss, because now all of a sudden I could be replaced by this guy and we don't miss a beat, right?
Listening to the Gotti tapes, it's clear John was setting my father up.
And I realized that John probably eventually would take me out for no other reason but he wants one show, one boss, of John Gotti. He don't want anybody to be his equal. He don't want anybody in any way, shape, or form to shine. And I guess I was shining too much.
Making it sound like high school.
Yeah, but the only thing is that in high school you could throw a spitball at somebody. We use bullets.
So Sammy the Bull betrays everything he once pledged a blood oath to, going from one of the most powerful figures in the New York City mafia to its most infamous informant.
They have said you are the single most important witness ever to testify against the mob.
I think I am. An underboss is the highest position who's ever cooperated, but I think I'm in a position of being the most knowledgeable underboss who's cooperated.
Gravono revealing key details of racketeering and murder helped put Gotti away for life.
Sammy helped me shut out the rest of the family and bosses and underbosses of the other families. I think we totaled over 38 convictions. He arguably led to the demise of organized crime in New York.
Are you a rat?
If that's the term you like to use, I don't look at myself as that. I look at it as I was betrayed, I betrayed him. That's what the mob is.
In order to convict John Gotti, prosecutors got Gravono a reduced 5-year sentence for his 19 murders.
Making the deal with Gravono did not come without criticism. There was blowback from the family members of people that he killed.
What do? We have no recourse. They said this was okay. They wrapped him in the American flag, and they sent him off.
Gravono later went into witness protection, leaving the program a year later and writing a tell-all book about his life. While he was able to avoid the mafia's retribution, he was unable to avoid a life of crime, spending another 17 years in prison after his arrest for drug trafficking.
No matter how I feel now, I couldn't change what happened. It was ugly, but I know what people want me to say. It was so ugly, would you change it? Yes, the way I feel now, but even looking now, I couldn't.
You a good man?
I think I'm a decent man.
You don't worry about a final judgment?
I'll worry about that day, and we'll see what happens.
You can stream Truth and Lies, The Last Gangster on Hulu.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.